Now, we are so pleased to welcome two esteemed guests who have strong and enduring connections to the Lake School. Please join me in welcoming Alex Scott, alumnus of the Lake School and His Majesty's Lord Lieutenant of Cumbria. We're also delighted to welcome Arthur Capstick, MBE, former head teacher of the Lake School, who's dedicated many years to guiding and inspiring generations of Lake students. We invite them both to the stage to share their reflections of their time in the school.
Wow, I have stood here before, but it was nearly 50 years ago. It's great to be back. Hello, fellow pupils. Hello, parents. Hello, grandparents. It's sort of incidental that I'm here as His Majesty's Lord Lieutenant, but I'll just tell you a bit about it for those that don't know what that means. It means that I represent the King in this county. I was born in this county, I live in this county. If all goes well, I will die in this county. So I feel really privileged to be able to have that role. But look, I'm here as a pupil, but just one of the thousands that we've heard who've passed through this remarkable place. And it's a privilege to be asked to speak on this occasion. And I'm conscious that many others, I'm sure many others of you are here now who could be doing this. So thank you for the opportunity for speaking on behalf of the alumni. But I'm not going to focus on my school days, all right? I can't remember much of it, and many elements of it I'd rather forget anyway. But I have forgotten a lot, including, apparently, there is a picture out there that informs me that the current king, Prince Charles, came here when I was at this school. I have no recollection of it. So. But I do remember something some of you will remember, punk rock. Yes, you can still hear that. And I did have platform shoes. And we had these things called slide rules. Some of you may even remember those. They were before calculators came along. Very exciting day, the first time the physics teacher had the first calculator in school. Yeah, I'm that old. But I want to reflect more broadly, and I'll pick up some of the themes we've already heard this evening on what makes a great local school and the lasting role schools like this play in our communities. Now, we all know that schools are places of learning, but they're also far more than that. A good school becomes an anchor of local life. It brings together families across generations, creates shared experiences, and often serves as a gathering point, like this tonight, for community life. And the culture of a school, its values, its expectations and its spirit shapes not only its students, but the community around it. Kindness, curiosity, perseverance, and respect. These are all the values that form the character of responsible neighbours and citizens. Now, when I was here, there was a motto, integrity and service. I bet lots of you out there can remember that. I think that's a pretty good one, because for me, it captures so much of what we should strive for, both as individuals and as society. Now, what a great evolution. Inspire, challenge, and empower. What would we all want? A place to deliver for our children, but to inspire them, to challenge them, and to empower them. So I think it's a fantastic evolution. Great schools, especially those in the state sector like this one, do more than teach. They open doors. They offer opportunity and access to all, regardless of background. They're social levelers. They can't eradicate every element of chance in a child's birth, but they are capable of equipping them, each young person, with the tools and confidence to make the most of their lives. And I've seen around this school some of the amazing things that alumni of this place have achieved. And of course, none of that is possible without the quiet excellence and deep commitment of teachers and support staff. And their core role is to educate, but their wider impact, encouraging young minds to imagine, to question, to grow, is just as profound. And their influence stretches far beyond the classroom, and probably, and I think very definitely, far beyond what these teachers can see. So thank you, past, present, and future for the inspiration, the empowerment, and the challenge that you so skillfully deliver. Alumni of this school and schools like it carry influence with them. They bring the spirit of the school into the world through service, through care, through creativity, and through leadership. And many return, contributing once again to the local area and completing a virtuous circle of giving back. And many of you in this room are now representative of that spirit and embody this ongoing contribution to our society. I'm not going to try and trace every thread from my school days to adult life, but I do know, I really know that the values and relationships formed here at the Lake School have been a steady foundation for me, as they have been for so many, and I'm deeply grateful for that. So, as we mark 60 years of the school, we honour not only the history, but its impact, past, present, and I'm sure into the future. So we've already done this, but let's celebrate the pupils, the staff, the community, and everyone who's shaped and have been shaped by this place. And let's look ahead with pride and optimism for decades to come. Thank you very much.
Well, I must start, I think, by congratulating Miss Rainey, the governors, and in particular Luke Brown and his team for such an impressive and incredible evening. It's been and will be to its end really quite brilliant. Thank you. It's lovely to see the Lady Mayor down here. Welcome. It's great to see Alex, to have Alex, Lord Lieutenant of Cumbria, on the platform, who is a good friend of the school, particularly in relation to the building of the all-weather surface. So that's remembered and really appreciated. And to have Rob Rinder and his mum here as well. I don't quite know where I am. Is this the Lake School that I spent 15 years in? Talking about that, how many of you were here in my day? Can we just, oh wow. Well. I'm not going to be able to see all of you, am I? And I probably wouldn't remember. So you must bear with me. I've already embarrassed myself by meeting an old pupil as I came in and not knowing who he was. And he only lives down the road from me as well. So I'm sorry about that, Joe. It just takes me a little while. But it's lovely to see you all. And I'm particularly grateful that this room, this hall is so packed. That's marvelous. But we have, as a school, an amazing legacy. We've been given it. We've been entrusted with it. And that's really important that we take that seriously, and your youngsters. And I know they do, because they listened this afternoon so well when Rob and his mum and I spoke to them. It was really touching. That they take this legacy seriously and they will take it forward. I have every confidence that that will be the case. A legacy of resilience, of hope, of freedom, of inclusion, of life. Let's not forget that the youngsters that we've seen on film, we were talking about them having a new life, a life that they didn't have. And we take that for granted so often, don't we, in our circumstances. But it's just important to stop and think that that is their experience. So, we have a big responsibility in interpreting that legacy and taking it forward, carrying it forward into the future that we all share and that we all play a part in developing and contributing to. So, the question I've been given is, what did the Lake School mean to me? Now, those of you who put your hands up, let me just say, I was the head teacher while you were here. That's just for the teachers, by the way. Sometimes they're the problem, not the pupils. So, I need your help, all of you. I want you to just close your eyes. Not yet. I'll give you the go. Just close your eyes for about 15 seconds, no more. You won't lose your handbags or your wallets, I promise you. This is the Lake School, not... Oh, no, I mustn't say that. No. So I want you to close your eyes, and I want to think of one thing, one memory that you have of school. It may not be the Lakes, obviously. It may be your school, which isn't the Lakes, but just one memory when I give you the go. Okay? Understood? Understood. The girl laughing over there. Girl, that is. Okay, go. Rightio. You can wake up again now. I'm not going to ask you what's just come into your head. I couldn't do that. I wouldn't dare. It might be a visit to the head's office. They weren't all bad, but probably not worth remembering. But I'll put money on it that you don't remember period 4 on a Friday in maths. Unless, of course, you had Mr. Rhodes or Miss Hughes. You might remember that. But generally speaking, we don't remember individual lessons and subjects and things that we learned day after day after day, do we? The answer is no, we don't. So what is it that it means to us? What do we remember? What was in your mind? Well, I actually suspect that it was, for some of you at least, it was events. It was big experiences. It was things that don't come along every day. It was specials. Places you went to, things you did. And those were really important and stay as important to you. And they do to me. And if I was to say, I would say, 1, I'm allowed 3, by the way, because I'm the head, or was. Sorry, Miss Rainey, I'm not the head, I was the head. 1, I remember on an outdoor ed visit to the Isle of Man when Joel was doing some outdoor activity, crossing, I think, a pretend river on some planks, and I suddenly realized that I'd better tell the instructor that Joel actually was registered blind. Because he didn't know, and actually he would never have known. And that was the beauty of what we'd managed to do. We'd included, during our time, we had embraced youngsters with special medical needs and youngsters that had difficult mobility. And they were a part of the school, and they were as important as anyone else, as were those youngsters who struggled to work, struggled to get on, would like to be anywhere but in the classroom. They were just as important as the ones that were really able and could do it. And that's really important memory to hold. Inclusion, no matter what, vital. And I remember, as I told the youngsters this afternoon when one of them asked me, I remember at a variety show just before Christmas, those awful events when anything could happen. The stage was handed over to the youngsters. I was up there on the balcony doing what heads do, keeping an eye on everyone from above. It was a sort of godlike job that I had. And I was invited onto the stage by young Sam Thomas. Sam Thomas, you may not all remember him, a great lad, very, very accompanied, could unicycle, could juggle, could eat fire. Oh dear, when I think about it. And he invited the head so that he could lie on this floor here and be unicycled over. That would never have happened in Griff Thomas' time, would it? What do? Do I shrink away and disappear, and my street cred would drop through the floor, even further, that is, or do I accept the invitation and come here? For better or worse, I did the latter. And Sam, lovely lad, rascal actually that he was, rascal. And you meet them, don't you? You get them all. He unicycled over the head teacher on a plank. And I'm here. I'm still here. I'm still here. No wonder I remember it. And finally, there was Stephen Hawking. And Stephen Hawking's appearance here on this stage, in this spot, has had quite a bit of social media attention. And he talked for half an hour or so through his machine, through his computer. And then he answered questions for a similar sort of time. But what you don't know is that he then went backstage with a group of sixth formers from the Lakes, science sixth formers, and a group from Lancaster. By the way, this hall was fuller then than it is tonight. I have to say it, the once and only that happened. And he talked, Stephen Hawking, who had achieved the greatest in learning, but whose body had collapsed and was broken. He talked and answered questions to those sixth formers. They will never forget it. They'll never forget it. That man knew so much, and here he was in this place talking to us. And he was talking science, cosmology, but he was demonstrating that despite his body, he could still engage. That's what life is about, and that's what learning is about. So I believe you will have remembered experiences when you thought about your education, your school. But it's not just that, and I'm quickening on now because I've got to. Otherwise, I'll have Luke Brown on me. You'll have remembered people. People, teachers who taught you. And this is where it gets a bit scary for teachers. Because I'll tell you, teachers, you are remembered. For better or worse, if we think of our school days, and we remember them, we remember people and who they were. And so it should be. It should be that. Because they're important. And teaching is important. And the relationship that you have with the teachers is important. Learning doesn't just take place anywhere or in any circumstance. It takes place because there's a relationship between a student and a teacher. And sometimes you don't even know who the teacher is because they're learning as well. But that's real learning. So you'll have remembered them. And I want teachers, and I hope teachers will just take stock and remember that that's their calling. That's what they're here to do. And it's a real, real privilege that that is the case. So they'll have remembered. That's what the Lake School means to me. It means experiences. It means teachers and people who I remember and value, who worked with me and were good quality. It wasn't all super. I don't want you to think that. I made mistakes. We made mistakes. Of course we did. But there were people here striving for the good of the youngsters in our care. And that's what it's about. But embedded in experience and teaching and learning are the values that we all rely on, that we bring. Those values that I started with, the values of inclusion, respect, excellence, hope, friendship, all those things that we've heard that have been given to us from the Windermere children and their story, and that we've taken forward into our day and into you're taking forward now, I'm not, into 2025 and beyond. And that's our task, ladies and gentlemen, and youngsters, to take that forward.
And further round of applause for Lord Lieutenant Alex Scott, and of course the one and the only Arthur Capstick, MBE, everybody. Oh, you stay here, yes, absolutely. We're a fabulous threesome. It's like, yeah. What's that Irish boy band? We're sort of like them, only mildly less attractive. Yeah. The remnants of Boyzone, a little bit aged. They were. But on that note, we do have some of our amazing students. We are delighted and enormously proud to welcome to the stage head boy Matthew Gibson and head girl Lucy Taylor, who together with the students of the Lake School have created something enormously special. It's a time capsule of items from 2025 that are going to be opened on the school's 100th anniversary, and they're here to tell us more.
To mark the 60th year of the Lake School, on behalf of all students, we've put together a special time capsule. Inside you'll find 60 photographs from our 60th year, recipes from Year 7 students capturing what makes a fantastic Lake School, a school tie, a PE kit, and a ticket from our recent Halloween disco, and other items representing our school life in 2025. We now ask Arthur Capstick and Alex Scott to seal the time capsule, which will be open in 40 years to celebrate the school's 100th anniversary.